All right, boom. In the building today, we have someone, in my opinion, with an absolutely immense story and someone who does an incredible job right now helping others to tell their story, sort of thing. We have Mr. Shaun Attwood in the building today. How are we doing today, you right?
Fantastic, Mo. It is an absolute honour to be on DJ Vlad's channel.
Welcome. Yeah, I want to welcome you to the platform as well. And like I said, like, incredible. Like, I'm a fan myself. I follow you a lot, and yeah, you're doing an amazing job at the minute. But obviously, the story is a conversation in itself, which we're obviously going to get into. Now, as far as your story, pretty much, I guess if someone said they had a story, you're pretty much the person that's like, hold my beer, basically. And it's like, we kind of take it to a whole new level when we're dealing with yourself, sort of thing.
Yeah, my audiobooks, there's 3 of them. It's a trilogy, it's 30 hours long. So it's like 3 Netflix series.
Yeah.
You got Party Time, you got Sheriff Joe Arpaio's jail,
Right.
and prison and what happens after.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into all that anyway. So if we could take it all the way back and you know, all the way back to like sort of birth, and you told me your earliest memories of childhood.
Earliest memories of childhood?
Yeah, that you can remember, yeah.
My parents moved to America when I was a kid, actually, into Chicago for a couple of years. And I remember like the temperature being different and the accents, but my mum didn't like it.
Oh yeah?
And I think it was my mum's idea for my dad to come back. Otherwise I would have grown up in America.
Right.
Yeah, so they were only out there for a couple of years.
Okay.
I then started to visit my aunts as a teenager. And that's how I fell in love with Arizona, because when the plane comes in, you see all the swimming pools in the backyards and they hear the English accent and they roll out the red carpet. And my aunt changed my date of birth in my passport when I was 16, took me out nightclubbing, and she's introducing me to all these beautiful American women as Paul McCartney's nephew.
Oh, wow.
So I've just come from this little chemical manufacturing town up north.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I've gone from being a nobody to Paul McCartney's nephew, getting all this attention. I'm thinking, wow.
Crazy.
When I finish at university, I want some of this. And that's what I did.
Right.
That's what I did.
And just to discuss, pretty much to discuss you as a student. Now, you was very like sort of big on economics. Like that's something that you sort of pursued. And there wasn't much of you that I guess chose economics. It was just you and a couple others in the actual class.
That's correct.
Yeah.
In my school in Widnes, Cheshire, I had this teacher called Mr. Dillon.
Right.
And I think about half a dozen of us or less chose economics. So he's got me reading the Financial Times, explaining all the columns, the numbers, the stock market stuff. And there was Maggie Thatcher was the Prime Minister back then.
Right.
And she was privatising British Telecom, and I saw the advertisements for it. And I went to my parents. I said, "Can I get 50 quid to invest in the stock market?" And they were like, "Bugger off," because they were Labour. They were like, "Bugger off!
Right.
We don't support Maggie.
Like,
We don't support Maggie Thatcher. We're not Tories like your nan." My nan, light bulb, run down to my nan's house because she's a Tory. I'm like, "Nan, can I get 50 quid to invest in British Telecom?"
And how old were you, not to cut you off?
I think I was about 16.
Right. So,
And I'd already been following the stock market now for a couple of years since I was 14. Gone down the library, ordered dozens of books on the subject. My nan gave me 50 quid. I think it was 50 pence on the first day of dealings, the shares, and they opened like around £1.
Right.
So it doubled like that. I was like, yeah, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I'm hooked. Then I'm telling all my mates, I'm going to go to America, make $1 million, fly you guys over.
Yeah.
That was my dream, and that's what I did.
That's crazy. So, I mean, you're 16 years old and you're talking about stock markets pretty much. Like, it's not normal, I guess, for someone that age.
We had an area at the top of my town, Widnes, called Peck's Hill, and there was a quarry. So we would sneak through the iron railing and sit on this tree overlooking the quarry called the Thinking Tree. So it was me, my best mate Wildman, R.I.P. Wildman,
R.I.P. Wildman, yeah.
and his cousin Hammy. And on that tree, we would plan our lives, and I would tell them, I'm going to go to America and make $1 million, fly you guys over.
I respect that.
Wildman, he was saying he was going to end up in prison for the rest of his life because he had red dots in his head telling him to hurt people. And Hammy was like, asking us what our plans were. And we're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to fly Wildman over to America. He's not going to go to prison. He's going to end up a wrestler. He's going to be wrestled like Andre the Giant and The Undertaker and all these guys. That was my idealistic notion. when I was a teenager.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So we're moving on just a little bit. You furthered your education into Liverpool University.
Yeah.
And you studied, I guess, business as well as economics and stuff.
Yeah, my economics professor was Sir Patrick Minford, Maggie Thatcher's chief economic advisor at that time.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so he was actually like the Prime Minister's sort of aide when it comes to economics, like telling us strategies and stuff.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And but as far as your influences, I guess at some point in your youth or somewhere down the line, you watched Wall Street, I guess, with
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Gordon Gekko, greed is good. We will buy these companies out and sack everybody and strip all their assets and make millions and drive around in limos with hookers snorting cocaine.
Yeah.
And that became my false idol.
So was it the one with Michael Douglas? Or?
Yes.
All right. So that one's called Wolf of Wall Street.
No. Oh shit! I'm getting confused. Am I?
Yeah.
Wall Street.
It's called Wall Street, right?
It's just Wall Street.
Yeah, I think so.
Wolf of Wall Street came later.
It's from
Did I say Wolf of Wall Street earlier?
Yeah.
Sorry, Wall Street.
Wall Street, right? Yeah.
Wall Street.
So you saw that, and that was a turning point for you, like that.
That was like, I gotta have some of that.
Yeah.
I gotta have some of that. I realized because my idols were people like George Soros, Michael Milken.
Okay.
Because these guys had filed the biggest incomes ever in the history of tax returns in America.
Yes.
And they were all stock market guys.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, the amount of money you can make in the stock market is unlimited. Look, I'm not like this now. I'm a yoga man now. I believe in karma. I've learned my lessons. I'm not trying to like glamorize this, but I'm just trying to portray where my mind frame was as a teenager. I was dazzled. Coming from a industrial, working class northern town, I was dazzled that people could get that wealthy through the stock market.
Definitely.
That was my path.
Yeah, for sure. And there was a key slogan, I guess, in the film where Michael Douglas expressed that greed is good.
Greed is good.
Yeah, and that pretty much stuck with you, sort of thing. Like,
and my aunt as well was my mentor, and she was, got to phrase this very carefully, a hard-headed businesswoman.
Right.
So my other motto was, it's fuck or be fucked in the business world.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
As indoctrinated by my aunt.
So your aunt was involved in business. Like what?
I can't describe
right.
the extent of what she was involved in.
Yeah.
But she was the one who changed my date of birth in my passport when I was 16 to 21.
Right.
And my parents weren't happy about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Early felonies,
Oh, crazy. Yeah. Crazy. And cool. So you graduated from university.
I sat my finals coming down off ecstasy with beeps and beats just going beep, 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 beep in my brain. But I still managed to get honours degree in business studies.
Nice.
Yeah.
And was it imminent as far as your travels to America after you graduate?
I think I went to the Glastonbury Festival first.
As you do.
I remember being on LSD, trying to find my car in the nighttime so I could go to sleep in it. I was just walking around high on LSD.
Right.
But I got to see some of the early idols I had in the rave scene, like I think it was Guru Josh, Adamski, way before your time. I don't know if you're familiar with any of these people.
Yeah, I can't say
Infinity
I know them.
Project was remixed actually when I got out of prison back in 2007, 2008. They were playing it when I got back to the UK. But yeah, so those guys were my early influences, and it was that scene that became my religion while I was doing my degree. Every weekend I was in Manchester. It was called Manchester back then.
Right.
At clubs like the Thunderdome, the Conspiracy, sometimes the Hacienda, and then Liverpool, the State, or the Toxteth Scrapyard, or Quadrant Park. And I lived the whole week, I just lived to go raving all weekend. And
I mean, you're a young man, so obviously, you want to exercise certain, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So I swore to myself, when I go to America and make this million in the stock market, I'm going to transfer the UK rave scene to Arizona. That was my goal. It took me a while to contribute, but yeah.
So there was no rave scene over there at the time?
When I got to America, they were playing like dance music, like it was still a bit like Prince and Michael Jackson.
What's that? I don't know.
They were so behind.
Right.
The mainstream channels in America varied from country and western to like Metallica, to like dance music, but like UB40 and Prince and Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So the scene hadn't kicked off at all.
Right.
I managed to click up through some local DJs, and they were fascinated by what I was telling them. I had all these tapes I'd recorded, cassette tapes of like the 808 State Show in Manchester.
Okay.
And they were like, give me your tapes. And they were learning it. These DJs have become huge international phenomenons in the rave scene since I first met them. But I clicked up with that crew in the beginning, and that's how it began.
Right.
Through the gay bar, that's it. Through the gay bar, that's where I met them.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was called the Silver Dollar Club in Arizona. Yeah.
So eventually you ended up in America, and then 91, and one of your initial jobs was for a firm. Now, as far as what you wanted to be, I guess because you went into stockbrokering, but that's not what you wanted to do initially, right?
Correct. You've done good research.
I mean, we have to over here, you know. we got to do it, right? Yeah. So
I wanted to be an investment analyst.
Right, but obviously that job wasn't really around, sort of.
It's more in New York. So I get to Arizona and I'm thinking, just get your foot in the door. And in Arizona, there's a lot of money. Paradise Valley, Sun City. There's a lot of stockbrokers. So I just sent my resume right away to like 30 stockbrokers.
Right.
And got offered opportunity interview quite quickly.
Sweet. So initially, the first firm that you actually worked for, I guess they had an association with the Mafia or something you mentioned?
Yeah, it was a penny stock outfit. I didn't understand that at the time. Proper Wolf of Wall Street style. And he was like a Mafia Don, the boss of this firm.
Yeah.
And he's interviewing me, and I need to make money fast because I'm just fresh. You know, I've got no money. I'm living off my student credit cards. He says the job's commission only. I'm like, I need to start work fast. You got to do the test, the Series 7. Put me in for it. No, you got to do the classes. How long is it going to take me to do the classes? Oh, months. I said, well, let's skip the classes. Just put me in for the test. We can't skip the classes. You've got to do the classes. I'll go and get the book. So he goes and gets the book. The book's this big, but I flick through it. It's all multiple choice questions.
Sweet.
I've just done a business studies degree at Liverpool University where it's all like pages and pages of calculus that you got to memorize.
Yeah.
And you got these rinky-dink multiple choice questions. And he goes, I said, this looks easy. He's like, oh, well, look at the options section. Trading options. I've been trading options during the breakout of the first Gulf War. So I already knew it. So I said, put me in right away. And he's looking at me now. He's got this look on his face, like this Mafia Don look. And he's like, I'll put you in for it. There's something about you. I'm going to put you in for it. But I don't like it when people let me down.
Wow.
Like implying bad things can happen.
But I make you offer, you can't refuse.
But I aced it. Yeah, and it took off from there.
So this role, I guess, or all the roles that you took were pretty much commission-based.
Yes.
And I guess you wasn't feeling that place, like something about it, I guess, didn't agree with yourself, so you...
They were pushing penny stocks. So if you've watched Wolf of Wall Street,
Definitely.
It was like very mercenary outfit. They got this big board on the wall. They got all the brokers, the rookies sat in quads. The high producers are in offices at the back. They bring in these like sales people, like heavy hitters from these other firms. They look like they're high on crystal meth or cocaine. They're like foaming at the mouth and they're screaming at us.
Yeah.
You're only as big as your numbers are on this board for the month. Smiling brokers make the most money. Pacing brokers make the most money. We had to have mirrors on our desks. We had to have 24-foot curly cords. All the brokers are pacing up and down, up and down, up and down. And he's like, if you're calling your girlfriends, if you're calling your wives, other brokers are calling your clients. Honestly, people were shitting themselves. Shitting themselves. He would hire 10, 20 people a month. And he'd be like, I had to hire 20 people a month, throw them against the wall and see how many stick. And the ones that didn't stick, we cannibalized their clients.
Fucking hell.
There was a broker on my quad and he didn't put me with the rookies because he knew I had a bit of knowledge. He put me at the back with a quad called the criminal quad. One of them was an ex-Vietnam vet who would like have flashbacks and just start fucking kung fu kicking the air around us. Another one had been in prison for a couple of years. I think he got in a bar fight or something. And he told his clients the 2 years he'd been fighting cancer in hospital and he's back now. And he even got lists of cancer patients and called them to sympathize through his suffering through cancer. I know this sounds terrible, but I'm just giving you a reality.
Yeah, for sure.
And the other one was like a very icy salesman, a bottle of gin or vodka in his little suitcase at all times. But those guys schooled me.
Right.
They schooled me. And the cannibalization was such. The boss, right, the Mafia guy, his old boss was actually working in our office, but he'd come down the ranks. And he had a huge client book,
Yeah.
but he wasn't that big on the board for the month. So there was a plot to get rid of him and cannibalize his client book.
Okay.
So the boss calls him into the office. He's firing the guy. The boss gives the nod to the criminal quad. We start ransacking his files, taking all of his client book.
My Lord.
He tries to break free, get out of the office. Security guard grabs him. The criminal quad, not only are they stealing his clients, he's got a packed lunchbox. They're eating his packed lunch while they take. This is how ruthless.
That's cutthroat.
This is how ruthless stockbroking is. This was how I got broke into the business world fresh out of uni. These guys are smoking. I mean, they're snorting crystal meth off their desks. They've got biker gangs bringing it to the office. They've got strippers and escorts coming up. If there's any kind of celebration, there's a limo full of strippers downstairs to take us to the strip club. So I'm thinking, this is what the business world is like, you know?
So it was literally like a real life Wolf of Wall Street. You going into work sort of thing.
All the way through Wolf of Wall Street,
Yeah.
I was having flashbacks. Yeah, exactly. He was spot on.
Incredible.
Yeah.
At some point, you got really good at the stockbrokering thing, and I guess 5 years, pretty much into you actually doing it, you became sort of the big fish.
Yeah, within so many months, I was wise that I was in a penny stock outfit. I partnered up with another guy who's actually contacted me after many years recently. I'm probably going to interview him soon. And he was featured in the Locked Up Abroad episode.
Right, yeah. On television, basically.
Yeah. Where I partner up with him. I think they called him Matt in that. So we figure out what we need to do is we'll stay late one night, photocopy the entire client books of the office so that when we bail and they start to cannibalize our clients, we've got all their clients. That's exactly what we did. And we were sending them newspaper articles saying, look, this is a penny stock outfit. They're chopping you out, out of all these commissions, hidden commissions that you can't see. Come with us. And that's how we built them with, stable brokerages, doing the right thing for our clients, making money for them. And it built up from there. I went through 3 or 4 different brokerages that were bought out and stuff to the point where I was with a company in the end. And I became the top producing broker. Yeah. Grossing about $500,000 a year.
$500,000.
Yeah. And but that's what led to me ditching that career and going full time into the rave ecstasy.
So, I mean, when you're making this much money, have they got like 2 limos full of strippers for you? Like, what's happening with you? Like,
they had multiple limos full of strippers for all of us for the office whenever there was anything, any kind of celebration. Yeah. But sadly, a lot of what I did was fueled by crystal meth. Right. Yeah, because when I got on crystal meth, it increased my aggression. And in the beginning, you feel superhuman. So instead of getting on the phone and asking the clients for 10K, I get on the phone and ask them for 100K and maybe they send me 50. And that's what made my commissions go through the roof. Sick. And my desk was totally messy. And the boss was very strict about messy desks. And he'd go through the office and he'd be like, tidy your desk up, tidy your desk up, tidy your desk up. He'd get to my desk, he'd be like, Shaun, whatever you're doing, it's working. Just leave your desk like that. So I'd be able to come in and out of the office whenever I want. Yeah. Wasn't having to show up for the 6 o'clock in the morning sales meeting. But my ego was starting to build, yeah, and eventually it becomes as big as the Grand Canyon, and that's sows the seeds of my downfall. Right. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.